All right. I think we were on mute for some time. I'm just going to brief our viewers about the incident that took place on a Bangalore highway. It's a terrible tragedy. It's a tragedy which is really unspeakable. I'm at a loss of words to actually talk about it. How a family of six died within a matter of moments. Why are Indian highways becoming death traps? Do we as citizens need better road manners before we actually have better roads? A family of six perished on NH 48 last weekend on a Saturday when this family was actually traveling for Christmas to their family home. We are talking about Chandram Yagapagal, 48 years of age, founder and CEO of a software company. He, along with five others, were traveling in his new Volvo XC90, supposed to be one of the safest models to drive. Now, this happens when an oncoming container truck laden with aluminum pillars fell on top of this SUV, catching them completely off guard, perhaps. So, in a matter of moments, the family is crushed to death. This happens at 11 a.m. on Saturday near Bengaluru in Nelamangala. Chandram and his family lived in Bangalore suburb and they were en route to his native village Murbagi in Maharashtra's Sangli district. It's a blood-curdling story how life can end in a flash and for no fault of this family who was joyfully traveling to their native village. All of them terminated in one moment when cruel fate turned against them. Their vehicle comes under the weight of this humongous container truck, and of course, none of them could survive the weight that fell on them. They had no means to save their lives in that moment. Is it just a freak accident? Do these container trucks pose a safety threat that we've been ignoring all this while? Was this a tragedy waiting to happen? Will lessons be learned? Who should take responsibility? How can we rein in on rash and negligent driving that often puts human lives at risk? Let me welcome joining me here on the program Praveen Chandra Shetty, who's a road safety expert and a structural auditor. Thank you, Praveenji, for joining us. I also
Thank you,
have
Afrida.
Harmanpreet Singh, again a road safety activist. He runs a helpline and provides rescue teams for those who are caught in such kind of accidents. Namaskar, Harbansji. Thank you for joining us. शुरू करते हैं प्रवीण चंद्रा जी ये जो this tragedy, this accident that happened on a Bangalore highway raises a lot of questions. If you look at the sequence of events and everything is caught on CCTV camera, what we are told is that this container driver had a vehicle driving in front of him, and that vehicle applied brakes. The container driver had to apply brakes, and then in order that it doesn't hit the vehicle, it tried to protect the vehicle in front of him. It swerved to the left, and then this particular SUV was hit, had to face the brunt of it because the entire thing toppled over. My question is that do you feel that clearly a rash and negligent driving on the part of both these drivers, the one who applied the brakes suddenly for some reason must have been wanting to change the lane, and the driver of this container truck, should there be more training for these sort of heavy vehicle drivers on how they have to conduct themselves, the distance that they have to maintain with other vehicles? What went wrong according to you, Mr. Shetty?
Yeah. Afrida, let me correct you. I am not a road safety auditor. I am a road safety research person. I did the research on the highways driving through driving 19,110 kilometers in 58 days across the Indian peripheral highways and connecting city, town, and village roads and the expressways.
All right, apologies. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, it's all right. So now we have state-of-the-art highways, but still there is a deficiency in scientific designs on roads. Second thing, we have some vehicles which are architecturally defective. So when these architecturally defective vehicles are moving on a unscientific road full of defects, they go automatically out of control. So these vehicles which are architecturally defective, when they are moving on the unscientific highways, that is as good as a bullet coming out of a drunken person from
Yeah.
his revolver. That dangerous they are. Now, in
Hmm.
this case, see, I have not visited the spot of accident.
Hmm.
Unless we go there and see the entire site and inspect it, then only we can come to a conclusion what was the factor that caused the accident. But prima facie, after watching to several videos that are very rampant, very viral on the social media,
Hmm.
it appears that the container truck is a oversized container that causes imbalance when there is a sudden need of application of brake. So
Hmm.
this also apparently looks like the container was very, with a very large size with the smaller tire, the standard tires on the wheel. So there is a formula
Yeah.
how much should be the center of gravity of the vehicle from the ground.
Hmm.
So in this case, what happened is the container looks a very huge one, and that has raised the center of gravity of the truck to certain higher level than the normal.
Yeah.
As again, it is laden with some aluminum bars, which are also
Yeah.
a small quantity of aluminum is weighing. It becomes very heavy weight. So we need to calculate. We need to get the data. What was the size of the container? What was the load of the
Yeah.
weight of the container, and the weight of the consignment it carried? Then what was the
Hmm.
vehicle? Whether it was designed to carry that particular amount of weight or not. So
So this
these
is
three factors.
extremely risky. So are you telling me that in
Yeah,
this country we do
yeah.
not have rules in place to prevent such container trucks from plying on roads where regular passenger, it could have been you or me, taking that highway on that fateful day? Any
I
one of
fully
us,
agree.
any
I
one
fully
of
agree with
us
you.
could have faced this situation, which means, are there no rules for these container trucks? What time they can ply? What is the weight they can carry? How should the weight be placed on a truck that it does not lose balance on a route that is used by common people? Are there no rules, sir, on that?
Yes, yes, there are rules, but violation of the rules is very common in India.
Hmm.
Now,
Hmm.
in this case, the driver was alert till he saw the oncoming vehicle trying to hit him. So he tried to swerve the vehicle to avert an accident,
Yeah.
whereas because of the height of the container, the vehicle lost control. So
So
they
that
become it.
knowledge this particular driver must have is what I'm asking you. The
Yeah,
knowledge about, he's not an ordinary
yeah,
driver.
yeah.
He
There
is
is a lack of
driving a
training for the truck
container
driver.
vehicle with heavy weight, which can cause huge damage to anyone. And his primary concern should be how that weight that he's carrying, or the vehicle that he's driving, maintains its balance at all costs. He seems to not have that expertise. Otherwise, how could he not understand that if he brakes, there is every chance of this entire vehicle toppling over? That's a crucial piece of information that this particular driver did not seem to have, Mr. Shetty.
Well, I do not have the first-hand information about the driver's qualification.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, according to me, in this case, the oversized container carried
Yeah.
on a truck that was meant to carry such a large load is
Hmm.
driven by a person who may be a good driver
Yeah.
or may not be a good driver. On
Yeah.
sudden application of brake in an emergency, the vehicle loses control.
राइट
When the
आई
road
आई
is no,
लास्ट
sorry,
मिस्टर हरबंस सिंह जी, ऐसा
जी
क्यों है कि अपने जो आप जिस तरह का काम करते हैं, आप काफी वाकिफ होंगे कि किस तरह से इस तरह की घटनाएं होते रहते हैं अपने हाईवेज में। आप किसको
जी
जिम्मेदार ठहराते? क्या ये ज्यादातर वजह क्या होती है? ड्राइवर्स जो है वो अनट्रेन्ड होते हैं, वो रैश ड्राइविंग करते हैं, या अपने रोड सेफ्टी के जो नियम होने चाहिए, जो हाईवेज में जो स्पीड लिमिट्स होने चाहिए, जो जो रूल्स होने चाहिए, किस तरह के व्हीकल्स अलाउड है या नहीं अलाउड है, रूल्स में कमी है, लॉज में कमी है, कि ये ड्राइवर का ही नेग्लिजेंस है पूरी तरह से?
जी अभी मेरे मित्र जो प्रवीण चंद्र जी हैं, इनका काफी गहरा अभ्यास है इस बारे में, और इन्होंने अभी जो कहा है वो बहुत ही सटीक और सही जानकारी है। जो मेरी जानकारी है उस मुताबिक जैसा आपने कहा कि ड्राइवरों की ट्रेनिंग का कोई इंतजाम हमारे यहाँ इंडिया में, भारत में नहीं है। हेलो
जी जी बोलिए, मैं वो
हेलो।
तस्वीरें भी दिखा रही हूँ, वो एक्सीडेंट साइट में जो
तो
हुआ था और कैसे
धन्यवाद।
रेस्क्यू किया गया, आप बोलते जाइए। हाँ
मतलब ट्रेलर के लिए कोई प्रॉपर ट्रेनिंग का ड्राइवर नहीं है, कैटेगरी है, लेकिन जब ड्राइवर की शॉर्टेज है तो ट्रांसपोर्टर ओनर या फ्लीट ओनर, जो भी ड्राइवर हेवी ड्यूटी हेवी क्लास का ट्रांसपोर्ट लाइसेंस वाला मिल गया तो उसको सीधा स्टीयरिंग थमा देते हैं और वो निकल पड़ता है। उसको ट्रेलर चलाने का एक्सपीरियंस है नहीं है, फिर ट्रेलर में किस टाइप का वेट लोड है या कितना टन है, ओवरलोड है नहीं है, इस सब की जानकारी वो ड्राइवर को कुछ नहीं है और उससे उसको कोई लेना देना भी नहीं है। एक अभी जो हाईवे पे स्पीड लिमिट की भी समस्या है, कहीं पे कुछ स्पीड लिमिट है, कहीं पे कुछ है। मिक्स ट्रैफिक होने की वजह से जो गाड़ियां लेट हो जाती हैं, फिर वो ड्राइवर थोड़ा तेज चलाते हैं, रश ड्राइविंग करते हैं और समय पे अपने गंतव्य पे पहुंचने के लिए काफी रफ्तार बढ़ा लेते हैं और इस वजह से भी दुर्घटनाएं होती हैं। मेन वजह और भी है, जो मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है NH48 मुंबई अहमदाबाद हाईवे पे, दहिसर टू बॉर्डर गुजरात, बहुत ऐसी जगह है जो कई सालों से ब्लैक स्पॉट है। ये NHAI को भी पता है, हमारे प्रशासन को भी अच्छी तरह से पता है। ये सालों पुराने ब्लैक स्पॉट आज भी वैसे ही हैं, उसी जगह पर बार बार दुर्घटनाएं होती हैं। तो पूरी जिम्मेदारी हम ड्राइवर पे भी नहीं डाल सकते।
तो क्या
यहाँ
ये
पे
वही
बहुत
उसी ब्लैक स्पॉट, उन्हीं में से एक ब्लैक स्पॉट में ये घटना भी हुआ है आपके हिसाब से?
जी जी जी। और बार दुर्घटना होने के बाद कोई एक्सपर्ट जाके वहां पे क्या प्रॉब्लम है, या डिजाइन का प्रॉब्लम है, इंजीनियरिंग डिफेक्ट है, या ड्राइवर को विजुअलिटी नहीं है, वहां पे दिखाई नहीं देता है, या और कोई प्रॉब्लम है, इस बारे में हमारे यहाँ कोई तवज्जो नहीं दी जाती है, ध्यान नहीं दिया जाता है। एक्सीडेंट हो गया, 4-5 लोग मर गए, 1 लोग मर गए, उनको हॉस्पिटलाइज किया, फिर वापस से 2-4 दिन में 8 दिन में हम भूल जाते हैं और फिर वापस से जब दूसरी दुर्घटना होती है तो फिर से हम अलर्ट मोड पे आते हैं। मैं यहाँ हाईलाइट करना चाहूंगा, मेरे एकदम पास में ही पिछले 2 साल पहले जो साइरस मिस्त्री जी की दुर्घटना हुई थी,
जी
वहां पे सडनली 2 लेन हो रहा है 3 लेन की बजाय। तो वो टेम्पररी वहां पे कुछ साइन बोर्ड्स लगे, बैरियर लगे, मार्क्स हुए रोड पे, रैम्बलर भी बनाए गए, लेकिन फिर से वो वापस उसी हाल में हाईवे है जो दुर्घटना के पहले। मतलब टेम्पररी सॉल्यूशन होते हैं, परमानेंट कोई इलाज नहीं होता है। वहां पे 3 लेन बनाने के लिए कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, पैरेलल एक ब्रिज और बना हुआ है, सिर्फ वहां पे प्रॉपरली मैनेजमेंट हो जाएगा तो वहां पे वापस दुर्घटनाएं की रोकथाम के लिए कोई उपाय ठोस तरीके से नहीं होती।
जी जी हाँ, I think the other guest, Mr. Praveen Chandra, wants to come in. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Afrida, see, I have seen the videos you have uploaded now. In this, I can see 2 things. One is out of 12 plus 14 tires, 4 tires are completely bald. Okay, it is totally worn out. We can see now. Can you see this tire? There is no
please
thread
say
on
that
the tire.
again. Yeah, there are 6. Yes.
Yeah, see, there are in these 4 tires, they are totally bald. Okay, there is no grip. These tires do not give any grip to the moving vehicle on the road. Whereas other 8 tires at the back have the full thread on 4 tires and half thread on the second thread.
Let me just play that visual again and please talk us through it once again. What you're trying to say about the wheels. If I understand you correctly, that with this sort of a load, the wheels also have to have a particular grip, which according to you, in this truck is not the case. And therefore,
see, these 4 tires, what you can see is these tires, what you see here now. See, these 2 tires, okay? And the 4 tires. Plus these 4 tires. And last 4 tires. Out of 12 tires in this, there are 8 tires are totally bald, are unevenly worn out, and there is no thread on the worn out unevenly, and there is no thread. They are not matching each other. The tire grip has to be on the same width.
Yeah,
so
I
height.
can see that now.
And,
yeah.
So all these tires, these are we call it a scrap tire. These bald tires are scrap tire are coupled with other tires which are partially worn out and not worn out tires. These causes lot of imbalance on the vehicle, because of which the vehicle loses the traction on the road. The primary cause of this accident is a tire. The poor condition of the tire is the primary primary cause of this accident. Okay. The secondary cause is in and around when you have shown the video, I could see some potholes on which the vehicle are run. Just see the focus on the road.
Yeah.
Where some potholes are seen. Can you do that?
Yeah, I'm trying to play that out as well. Yeah. I'll stop when that portion comes. Okay.
It should be behind the truck. Truck has already passed
Okay,
that.
I'm trying to go back to that part. Yeah.
From backside. Go backside, backwards on from this. Yeah.
Yeah. Is this portion
We
you're
have to
saying?
see. Yeah. So what is this? I can't make out. Is it a pothole? Is it a pothole?
It's an uneven road, basically.
Huh?
The road is uneven. It's not a very even.
That has imparted its own adverse effect when both these factors come together in such a scenario that causes major road traffic accident and deaths. So here I blame the tires because it is visible here.
Yeah.
Then the road condition, we have to see the site, but apparently the surface also looks like uneven.
Yeah.
And
so two very important things have come out so far. हरबंस जी ने भी कहा इस चीज को कि जो ब्लैक स्पॉट्स होते हैं वो आइडेंटिफाइड है, उसको ऑलरेडी हाईलाइट किया गया है कि ऐसे ऐसे स्पॉट्स में एक्सीडेंट्स होते आ रहे हैं. उसका कोई ठोस कदम उस पर नहीं उठाया जाता. नो परमानेंट सोल्यूशन. खाली उसमें एक दो आप जिसे कहते हैं एक कुछ नोटिफिकेशन लगा दिया, उधर कुछ बैनर लगा दिया, एंड दैट इज इट. बट हाउ डू यू प्रिवेंट एक्सीडेंट्स इन दैट ब्लैक स्पॉट? उसके लिए जो एक थॉट प्रोसेस होना चाहिए, इंजीनियरिंग डिफेक्ट है तो उसको करेक्ट करना चाहिए, वो नहीं हो रहा है. और आपने बहुत कही कि ये जो अनइवन रोड्स है, इस तरह के रोड्स में अगर हेवी लोडेड व्हीकल्स चलेंगे तो एक्सीडेंट होने के चांसेस बहुत ज्यादा होते हैं. और उसके ऊपर जो मेंटेनेंस ऑफ दीज ट्रक्स, जो टायर्स हम दिखा रहे हैं, वो भी आप कह रहे हैं कि मुनासिब नहीं है. दे वर नॉट सपोज्ड टू बी ऑफ दिस वैरायटी ऑफ टायर्स. जो आप कह रहे हैं ये रिस्की है, डेंजरस है, और इसको नजरअंदाज करना, इसको इग्नोर करना, obviously you're putting lives at risk. And then comes the issue of the drivers.
I fully agree.
आप जो कह रहे हो कि ऐसे रिक्रूट होते हैं और उनको भी जल्दी रहता है, they have a deadline to meet, they tend to speed up. So quite a few factors, हरबंस जी, आप देख सकते हैं कि इस तरह की घटनाओं में जो है रिस्पॉन्सिबल होते हैं. पर्टिकुलरली ये बेंगलुरु वाले इंसिडेंट के बारे में अगर आपने देखा है, जो फुटेज मैं भी दिखा रही हूँ, इस पे आपका क्या मानना है कि कहाँ सबसे ज्यादा गलती हुई है?
अभी साइट इंस्पेक्शन से पहले जो भी स्टेटमेंट देना बहुत कठिन है.
Okay.
अभी आपने दो you raised the 2 points. One is the highway audit and inspections. अभी हकीकत में बोलूं, we in NHAR or in MORH we do not have any experts to carry out this road safety assessment. Even today, the highway audit is getting done by the improperly qualified persons. Those do not have any knowledge about the road. Second thing is, हमारा ट्रांसपोर्ट मिनिस्टर ने always say that हम IIT से करेंगे. लेकिन IIT में कौन सा प्रोफेसर है जिसको रोड सेफ्टी के बारे में मालूम है? Absolutely no. In ICAR 2020 में भी जब ये मुद्दा आया, so I told them very clearly. They gave some presentation from IIT Powai. One lady professor gave a presentation to the Ministry of Roads and Highways, in which she has copied the data of 1987 from Haydn, a country called Haydn, and how it is applicable to India in 2020. ऐसा रिसर्च करके कोई फायदा नहीं है. और एक रिटायर्ड पर्सनल्स, the highway MORH and NHA normally takes the people who are retired from them as if it is their son-in-law's house, father-in-law's house, for them giving 5 years of comfort. By sitting at the office, they just scribble something and get it sanctioned. So that has to be
It is
completely
actually
stopped.
infuriating. मैं ये सवाल हरबंश जी से पूछ रही थी कि ये पर्टिकुलर जो एक्सीडेंट है आपके एक्सपीरियंस में क्या आपको लगता है कि इस तरह के एक्सीडेंट्स जब होते हैं, आप देख सकते हैं ये तस्वीर कितना दिल दहलाने वाला तस्वीर है, इस तरह से एक पूरी फैमिली को क्रश कर दिया गया है, इंस्टेंट डेथ हुआ है उनका, कितना बड़ा शॉक हुआ होगा, कितना हेल्पलेस हुए होंगे। और मैंने ये भी सुना है हरबंश जी की जो चला रहे थे, जो सीईओ है एक सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनी के, उन्होंने ब्रेक सप्लाई किया, क्योंकि कई बार क्या होता है उस नर्वसनेस में जब आप देख रहे हो एक कंटेनर ट्रक आपकी तरफ आ रहा है, तो बजाय ये कि वो स्पीड अप करे, उन्होंने रोक लिया अपना व्हीकल। सो आपके अनुभव में क्या वजह है, मतलब किस तरह से इसको प्रिवेंट किया जा सकता है ऐसी सिचुएशन में?
देखिए मैडम, अभी ये जो दिख रहा है वीडियो के हिसाब से, ये ट्रेलर या तो टर्न ले रहा था, क्योंकि टर्निंग के टाइम ही टर्टर होने के चांसेस बहुत ज्यादा होते हैं।
टर्न नहीं ले रहे थे, और उन्होंने क्या किया, वो दूसरे लेन में ही चले गए, ऑपोजिट डायरेक्शन में उनका ट्रक मूव कर गया, क्योंकि उन्होंने
और वहाँ रोड भी अनइवन है, रोड की हाइट में साइड पट्टी जिसको बोला जाता है,
टक्कर ना लगे आगे के व्हीकल को, इसलिए उन्होंने ऐसे मूव किया और उस वजह से ये ओवर टॉपल हो गया पूरा जो हेवी वेट था।
जी मैडम, वो रोड भी अनइवन है, एक तरफ रोड का जो डीप है वो काफी ज्यादा है और कंक्रीट वाला रोड की हाइट ज्यादा है, उस वजह से भी ये पलट जाने की संभावना है।
और टायर कंडीशन भी उतना इम्पोर्टेंट है। दिस टाइप ऑफ टायर्स ऑन द व्हीकल, इट विल नॉट गिव एनी grip to the vehicle to move.
Grip नहीं था।
Gravity, center gravity क्या है?
When the brake is applied, because of the difference in the grip of these rubber threads, vehicle will not stop in a particular line. It will wave.
Right.
It will wave. In this case, primarily the tire condition is the major cause of accident. Tire condition. Road के बारे में तो only after I inspect the road, if given a chance, I can comment. But as per this video, it is the primary cause of this accident is the poor condition of the tire, as we can see here. आप क्या बोलते हैं हरबंश जी?
हरबंश जी, आपको क्या लगता है कि जो ट्रक्स के जो मेंटेनेंस है उसमें वो भी जिम्मेदार है, वो कोई उसमें देख रेख नहीं होता है इस तरह के ट्रक्स का?
बिल्कुल। यहाँ से गाड़ी भरती है,
साफ दिखाई दे रहा है
जी, गाड़ी भरती है, फिर खाली होती है, फिर भरती है, उसको कोई प्रॉपरली कोई लॉकशीट या कोई मेंटेनेंस का प्रॉपर इंतजाम नहीं होता है। इनको ट्रिप मारने हैं, ट्रेलर मेरा 1 महीने में कितना ज्यादा ट्रिप मारेगा, टायर 1 ट्रिप और चल जाएगा, 2 ट्रिप और चल जाएगा, फिर बदल देंगे, ऐसे लेट गो करते करते ये कंडीशन हो जाती है। और फिर वो गाड़ी मतलब हम उसको कह सकते हैं कि अनफिट गाड़ियां बहुत सी हैं रोड पे, जो चलानी खतरनाक है।
तो ये सारे ट्रांसपोर्ट कंपनीज भी जिम्मेदार है, जो ये कंटेनर ट्रक्स चलाते हैं उनको भी जिम्मेदारी लेना चाहिए। सिर्फ जो है ट्रक ड्राइवर को बुक करने से क्या काफी है? बिकॉज व्हाट आई फील, एंड लेट मी टेल आवर व्यूअर्स आल्सो हियर, दैट एट द मोमेंट क्या हुआ है कि ट्रकर को बुक कर लिया है बेंगलुरु पुलिस ने, और बेंगलुरु रूरल डिस्ट्रिक्ट पुलिस का कहना है कि दूसरा जो ड्राइवर था, जो एक ब्लू रंग की गाड़ी थी, वो कंटेनर ट्रक के सामने से चल रही थी, उन्होंने ब्रेक लगाया तो इनको ब्रेक लगाना पड़ा। उस गाड़ी के ड्राइवर की भी तलाश जारी है। और ये जो कंटेनर ट्रक का ड्राइवर है उसका नाम है आरिफ, वो झारखंड से है, वो भी हॉस्पिटल में उनको भी इंजरीज हुई है। और उन्होंने ये कहा कि एज आई वाज ड्राइविंग देयर वाज अ ब्लू कार अहेड ऑफ मी, the driver applied the brakes, I was unable to control my vehicle, so to avoid hitting the car in front of me, I turned the steering wheel to the right towards the divider, and that is when he saw the other car coming in that direction. Fir unhone wapas he tried to steer left, and that is when the load of the truck fell on the SUV. So Arif has been booked. Unko rash driving ka, negligent driving का, endangering human life, डेथ बाय नेग्लिजेंस के कई सारे सेक्शंस उन पे लगा दिया गया है। रैश एंड नेग्लिजेंट ड्राइविंग जो है उसके खिलाफ जो पेनल्टी है हरबंश जी, क्या आपको लगता है पेनलाइज करने से, ड्राइवर्स को पेनलाइज करने से उनका रैश ड्राइविंग का रवैया जो है, माइंडसेट जो है, वो ठीक होने की चांसेस है, या कुछ और ही उनको ट्रेनिंग देना पड़ेगा? क्या कानून से होगा कि ट्रेनिंग से होगा? जो ट्रांसपोर्ट कंपनी है वो जिम्मेदारी ले?
बिल्कुल मैडम, यहाँ पे ट्रांसपोर्ट कंपनी की भी उतनी ही जिम्मेदारी है। फिर हमारी सड़क पे, हाईवे पे जगह जगह पे ट्रैफिक पुलिस चौकियां हैं, हर एक टोल पे पुलिस नाका है। वहां पे ऐसी जो अभी प्रवीण चंद्र जी ने बताया, टायर की एक खस्ता हालत है, तो ये सब गाड़ियों की हालत या विजुअली जो दिखता है, किसी का स्टेपनी नहीं है, कोई एक्सल ऊपर करके गाड़ी चलाता है, तो ये सब बातों को वो गौर नहीं रखते हैं, उसके ऊपर उनका ध्यान नहीं है। मतलब कोई गाड़ी की फिटनेस की इंस्पेक्शन का इंतजाम हमारे यहाँ ऑन रोड नहीं है। ट्रांसपोर्टर खुद ही अपनी गाड़ी का फिटनेस चेक करता है या ठीक करवा लेता है और वो गाड़ी लोड हो जाती है। पर्टिकुलरली जो डेंजर,
जबकि
जैसे
अगर देखा
केमिकल,
जाए तो क्योंकि आप पब्लिक रोड यूज कर रहे हो और किसी का भी जान खतरे में आ सकता है, तो ये सरकार की जिम्मेदारी बनती है कि कोई एक नियम बने जिसमें फिटनेस सर्टिफिकेट मिले इस तरह के व्हीकल्स, इस तरह के ट्रक्स।
हर 3 महीना या एक पर्टिकुलर किलोमीटर के बाद उसका फिटनेस चेक होना चाहिए। ट्रेलर में जहां तक मेरी नॉलेज में है, बहुत से ड्राइवर उसका ट्रेलर का ब्रेक भी प्रॉपर काम नहीं करता है, उसी हालत में ट्रेलर चलाते हैं। मतलब आगे जो हॉर्स है उसका ब्रेक तो हॉर्स के ड्राइवर के कंट्रोल में रहता है, लेकिन जब ट्रेलर अटैच करते हैं तभी उसको एयर पाइप ज्वाइंट करने होते हैं। अगर कोई भी पाइप लीक है, प्रॉपर एयर प्रेशर नहीं क्रिएट कर रहा है, तो ट्रेलर का ब्रेक कम लगेगा या लगेगा ही नहीं। ऐसी हालत में भी दुर्घटनाएं होती हैं। और दुर्घटना होने के बाद
आपने हाईलाइट किया है, जी बताइए, कंप्लीट योर पॉइंट।
दुर्घटनाएं होने के बाद आरटीओ भी इंस्पेक्शन होता है, या बड़ी कंपनियां भी आके अपनी तरफ से इंस्पेक्शन करती हैं कि ब्रेक नहीं लगा, या ब्रेक कमजोर था, या गाड़ी ओवरलोड थी, क्या था। ये सब पहले भी होना जरूरी है। जैसे गाड़ी भर के निकली, हर चेक पोस्ट पे या हर टोल नाके से गाड़ी जाती है, तो वहाँ इन गाड़ियों का चेकिंग, जो ज्यादा खराब कंडीशन दिखती है उसको साइड में लगा के आप चेक कर सकते हो, या चेक करना जरूरी है। यहाँ तक मेरी नजर में है, मैंने देखा है एलपीजी सिलेंडर जो डिस्पैच करते हैं गांव गांव में जाके या घर घर में, वो सिलेंडर पूरे बम के तरह उस गाड़ियों में भरे होते हैं, 40-40, 50-50 के संख्या में। उन गाड़ियों की हालत देखते ही पता चलती है, ना ब्रेक लाइट है, ना उसमें सिग्नल चल रहा है, ना उसका टायर प्रॉपर है। तो ये गाड़ियां क्यों रोड पे चलती है? इसको रोक टोक या रोकने वाला है, इनके ऊपर कंट्रोल करने वाली कोई हमारे पास ऐसी यंत्रणा नहीं है।
रिस्क है ये बहुत बड़ा रिस्क है, और इस पर बोलने वाले लोग बहुत कम है। मैं शुक्रगुजार हूं कि आपने इस चीज को हाईलाइट किया, क्योंकि ऐसे स्टोरीज और इस तरह की जो खबरें हैं उस पे बहुत इन डेप्थ एनालिसिस और डिस्कशन होता ही नहीं है। जैसे कि आपने कहा कि ऐसे एक ट्रेजेडी हो जाए तब सब जाग जाते हैं, सारी जो खामियां हैं वो सामने आ जाती है, फिर वी गो बैक टू बिजनेस। आप देखिए जो मैं तस्वीर दिखा रही हूँ, इसके अंदर 6 लोग थे। चंद्रम यगपागल के अलावा उनकी बीवी, उनके 2 बच्चे 16 साल और 12 साल, फिर उनकी एक सिस्टर इन लॉ 36 ईयर ओल्ड एंड हर डॉटर। ये जो तस्वीर आप देख रहे हैं, इस गाड़ी में ये 6 लोग थे। मतलब हाउ डिस्ट्रेसिंग is this visual that we are looking at right now? Praveen ji, you wanted to talk about the training of drivers and where we are lacking. Please go ahead.
Now see, driving a 6-wheeler or 8-wheeler truck and driving a horse with trailer combination is entirely different. Okay. The truck has got either 6 or 8 or 12 tires on a single chassis, whereas this is a combination of tractor containing 6 tires and another attachment to a round table, turntable, it's called turntable at the back. So there is a lot of imbalance between the tractor and the trailer. So when they impart the training to the drivers, there is no provision or there is no facility in India to train the drivers on actual tractor and trailer like this. they give the training only on 6-wheel trucks. That is also inside the test ground and in the stimulation process, which
Yeah.
is not at all sufficient to drive the tractor trailer combination. See, these vehicles which they manufacture, like Ashok Leyland, Mahindra and Mahindra, Tata Motors, Bharat Benz, when they manufacture such type of vehicle, they should also give the proper training to the drivers who are experienced to drive minimum 3 years a smaller vehicle, smaller trucks.
Yeah. I
By
also
that
want
way,
to point out this Volvo model. This has
yeah,
been marketed as the safest model on Indian roads.
yeah,
Apparently, it's accident free, but even those sort of accident free models will not
yeah,
work if something
yeah,
like this happens and you get crushed under a heavy
yeah.
container truck. So,
Now,
what is
the
the use
vehicles are
of
safe.
someone investing that sort of money in a vehicle which they feel is the safest? I was reading about Chandram, how carefully he chose this vehicle because it was the
See,
safest. And look at
yeah.
the irony
Now,
of the situation.
yeah, regarding the safer vehicle, like with the NCP numbers, Bharat
Hmm.
NCP numbers, see, the vehicles are safe when you hit another object or the vehicle
Yeah,
is overturned. But in
yeah.
this case, a heavy object is fell, very odd subject fell on the top of the vehicle, wherein
Hmm.
there is no provision in the Motor Vehicle Act, or there is no provision in the vehicle to prevent that or to safeguard. Here it is
Hmm.
crushed to zero level, ground level.
Hmm.
So no safety measures are possible in such accidents. In
Any
other
car
way,
safety measure will not work because here is a case of another vehicle having overload of material and that has overturned on the road. So the best of safety features cannot help you. That's the
no,
tragedy
no,
of the
no,
situation.
no. Yeah,
Praveen
that
Chandra
is.
Shetty, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate and really helpful information that you shared with my viewers today. I'm
Yeah.
grateful to you for
Thank you
having
so much.
joined us
Yeah.
today on the program. Thanks very much.
Bye.
Yes, these are the pictures, viewers, and you can see how terrible this must have been for the passengers who were inside this vehicle. In a moment, their lives ended within moments as a container truck overturned on this SUV vehicle. This has happened in a Bangalore highway. And this particular visual, I think, is something that one perhaps may not be even able to erase from memory once you've seen it, because thinking about the people who are trapped there itself has my hair stand on end, and I cannot imagine the trauma that they would have gone through. We leave it at that for now. The other big story we are tracking today is with regards to Allu Arjun and the controversy that is now surrounding the stampede that happened in Pushpa 2 premiere in a cinema theater on the 4th of December in Hyderabad. It's taken a huge political turn now, with BRS and Congress on loggerheads, with Allu Arjun and Revant Reddy, the Chief Minister of Telangana, exchanging barbs. And now the question is whether the actor actually bears vicarious liability, as the police in Hyderabad is saying, because he ignored certain warnings or certain intimation that was given to him about the crowd. Is he responsible? The actor has come up with a spirited defense of himself, saying there is no way he can be held responsible for this. And if you look at the sequence of events there, it is indeed something to think about, that you have this actor who shows up for the premiere of Pushpa 2. There's a fan frenzy, there's a huge police presence. One woman died in the stampede on the 4th of December, and her son is still critical. This particular visual is from that particular day when the stampede happened. And now Allu Arjun's house has been vandalized. Protesters targeted his residence over the Sandhya Theatre tragedy. There is public anger over this issue, and apparently flower pots were thrown into the compound, and now there are allegations that some of these people were affiliated to a political party, affiliated to the Congress, and the Congress, of course, completely denies it. uh, Revant Reddy, there's a Congress government in Telangana. Revant Reddy has said on a number of occasions after the incident that there is no difference between a celebrity and a regular person, and if rules are broken, they must be punished, and the police must be able to do due diligence in this case. So the actor indeed showed up for the premiere, and of course, that was the reason for the crowds to show up. But can the actor then be held responsible? Because if you listen to Allu Arjun, he says that he's been to this theater, to this sort of premiere, a number of times in his life during his career. So there is no way he would imagine that his showing up can cause any sort of public disorder. He's been appealing to fans to refrain from abusive language online and offline. We'll hear what Allu Arjun has to say as well in just a bit. Uh, but let me now introduce Mr. Ravula Sridhar, who is with us at the moment. He's the spokesperson of the BRS. Good evening, Mr. Reddy. Thank you for joining us. At
Good
this point
evening.
of time, we were listening to some of the BRS leaders, and they are holding the Congress party responsible for fueling or fomenting trouble in all of this. What exactly is your standpoint?
Now look at this attack that happened on the actor's residence. On whose instance it has happened actually. This happened only after the provocative speeches made by Congress party leaders at various levels. And these things actually have led to an attack, and BRS strongly condemned it. And there is no doubt that the actor or celebrities or anybody, they don't have to be treated separately. But in this particular incident, it is
Hmm,
clear after the tragic incident happened, Stampede happened, after the
hmm,
lady death happened, the
hmm,
police filed cases on Allu Arjun. He was
hmm,
arrested, then he was released on a bail from the High Court, and things should have gone on. The law should have taken its own course. But in between, the Congress party and the government, to certain extent, in the guise of giving explanation for the response from the society or the film actors camp or something, these kind of provocative statements led to such an untoward incident where his house was vandalized. Few youth tried to enter his house. That is not accepted. There is no space for such a violence in the civil society, and no political party should actually rather support it or defend it. So, as BRS party, we have only made one statement when this tragic incident happened. We said all the stakeholders, the government gave them the permission to conduct the premiere show. So when you know that there is a huge crowds attracted to the such event, when the film star had come, now there is the government police saying they have not given permission for the film star's entry there. But
yeah,
however, when he has come there, the responsibility lies on the police department and the organizers concerned to ensure these things should not happen. The organizers should have ensured the safety and security of the people who have come there. So what we were trying to tell you that the actor was directly not responsible, though he is also equally responsible. So law acted onto it, let the law take its own course. Why these kind of provocating statements and rather this type of incidents, attacking people, attacking political parties who are trying to voice out their concern? This is not the way. Even the chief minister went on speaking for a hour and a half on the floor of the house when the
hmm.
matter is in sub judice. Yes, he would have responded. He has the right to respond. But see, you speak more, you will lose the content. You will lose the proper answer to the entire system. Now these things have
Are you
happened. This
suggesting Mr. Revant Reddy has a bone to pick? He has something against Mr. Allu Arjun? Are you trying to suggest that there's more than what meets the eye?
No, there are many news, going around that the actors' behavior of not
Hmm,
identifying the chief minister, rather recognizing a chief minister of Telangana state in one forum, or these things have led to some kind of a discomfort in the government and
hmm,
all that. Fine. I mean, at our level, being a responsible political party representative, I would not go into the details and all that. I only will be focusing on the issue that has actually happened. Because what happened in front of us, we will be speaking that. What is behind
yeah,
the screen, how they have their own relationships between the Congress party and the film star, what transpired, the entire event, a different case. Here, a tragic incident occurred. Uh, we have lost a life.
hmm,
Another life is battling for his life. The boy is
yeah.
still in the critical condition. and police star was arrested, then released. Then there was a chief minister's speech, a statement from Congress party, and
Yeah.
the actor also should have maintained some restraints. He also went on giving explanation, conducting a press conference,
Yeah.
even when the matter is
Let's
sub
listen into
judice. That
that.
also
And since
spoke.
we do not have the Congress representative, I'm playing out this soundbite of the Congress chief of Telangana,
Sure.
who
Former Congress Chief Ministers
spoke about this
Bengaluru and
incident.
Channa Reddy have encouraged film industry. That is the reason why Ramanad Studio and Padmalaya Studio have been established in Hyderabad. Lands were given at cheaper rate. Many facilities were given by the Congress party to the Telugu film industry. People unknowingly, the facts about the attachment between Congress party and film industry are talking about these episodes. They wanted to take undue political advantage. People of Telangana who really know the story of film industry, for the last 50 years, Congress party is the main party who has been encouraging film industry in Hyderabad.
Okay, so what do you have to say that it is the BRS trying to take some political capital out of this, and fishing in troubled waters, as it were?
BRS did not give the permission to this show. BRS did not say that police or administration should not have taken, proper measures to public safety. BRS did not tell the government to file cases, and incident happened aftermath. So we, as a political party, has the responsibility and right to respond to the issues that are happening in the state. If the government is behaving in a, rather I should say, a kind of irresponsible way, we have a right to respond in the interest of the public. Government is not alone, is the kind of stakeholder in the entire issue. As a principal opposition, we respond to the issues. If they take it in such a fashion that we are politicizing, we are trying to take advantage of it and all that. Why so many congressmen are speaking now? If the government is not at fault, why their PCC chief had to come and defend the issue? Why the other leaders are trying to defend the government or trying to accuse us, trying to create a different kind of a propaganda? I am trying to be very pragmatic on the entire issue. The government is more responsible compared to all other in this entire issue. They should have dealt it in a more matured manner. That's what I can say. They should have dealt it in more matured manner. Yes, we have lost a life, but to what extent the responsibility lies on the star? Though he also should be
Mr. Reddy,
accountable.
police का कहना है, the police says that there is a section of vicarious liability. If the security staff of the actor misbehaves and in some way incites the crowd, which leads to such a stampede, the actor is held responsible because it is his security staff. So there are certain rules and laws that the Telangana police is citing. And if you are saying that you're being pragmatic about it, why would you blame the chief minister or the Congress party for taking that position that there is a question of vicarious liability for the actor?
I was telling you from the beginning that the actor also equally responsible. I'm not trying to deny that the actor doesn't have any role in it. He should have listened to the police. He should have ensured it's this become an order. You go to any function or where celebrities come, their private security behaving in as if it's their right to push people and all, the common man are taken for granted. Who is allowing this kind of a culture? I'm asking you in the first case. When you know the actor is coming, you have intelligence. He should actually have to cross 4 or 5 police station limits. When such a huge crowd come, when you know that there is no permission, first in the case, why didn't you allow him into the theater itself? Why are you so weak? I'm also questioning the police. Why are you hesitating rather to stop whether he's a
Yeah.
VIP,
Let's listen into
celebrity,
Allu
film
Arjun
star,
because
player?
he has a few things to say contradictory to the police statement. He says he was not informed about the stampede, that he did not stay till the end of the screening. I don't know how much of it is material to the fact that a life was lost, but here is Allu Arjun also
overnight when it's
speaking on this
sabotaged, it
matter
really hurts.
and addressing his
And I'm
fans.
just here to clear to the people and to all the respective people that please don't get it onto me. It is only my personal expression, but it's not against anyone, because I genuinely don't want to. It's not personal to anyone. And I just want to say that 3 years of my life I've put into this film, and it means everything to me. And I went to see this movie in the theater, and I've been to the same theater 20-30 times in my life before, and you know, and there is also information that I've been very irresponsible going to the theater without any permission, which is not true at all. You know, there has been, you know, I'd like to be clear with these words because I don't want to misinterpret any words. What should I put up? Yeah. Okay, the theater has sorted permission, and I've been there, and right in front of my eyes there's police people who are clearing the way, so I was going by their direction. In fact, if there's no permission, you know, they'll tell us that, sir, we don't have permission, please return back, and I'm a law-abiding citizen, and I would have followed that. So nothing of that information was given to me, so I was following as per their guidance, and we went inside, and there was a lot of crowd, and it is no road show, it is no procession, it's just crowd outside the theater, right outside the theater, just a couple of maybe meters and yards outside the theater. I just wave my hands because that's the respect when hundreds of people come to see you. It's my basic respect that I wave my hands. And only it comes to a point where your car cannot move, and that's when you get up and you wave your hands, because all the bouncers, management, police, a lot of people say, sir, when you wave your hand is when they all cool off and they go. This happens to every celebrity, every leader, everybody knows that. The moment you raise, you know.
So there are two things then here, what I can see, Mr. Reddy, that clearly the actor believes that the police did not do its job. If he was asked to move out, if he was asked to refrain because of a larger than expected turnout, he would have. But he seems to believe that I've done this so many times, and you know, it is he does not think it is his responsibility at all to manage the crowds, and he thinks it's the responsibility of the law enforcement. Clearly,
See, you would have gone 20 times, but things have changed. However, that's what I'm trying to say. Now, everybody has their own version to defend themselves, but ultimately, a life is lost. So, all
yeah,
these stakeholders, you know, the theater management would have taken enough precautions. The police would have deployed more men when they know that government gave them the permission to conduct a premiere show. When they have seen practically so many people, so much of crowd gathered there, they should have sent the hero back, rather actor back to his place, you know, rather than allowing him into the auditorium, then go back and bring him out and all. See, in between these things is happening. So what I'm trying to say here, after all this has happened, police booked cases
yeah.
now, and he was released. Why there should be an attack? You know what led to this attack? Now that is the question today.
Yeah,
After
that is the
all
question
those things have
today.
happened,
Yeah,
then the question today.
why
That's what I'm
why the
asking. So
hooliganism? Why, while the investigation is on, why should the
because,
actor's house be attacked?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. See, these are who has instigated this, who provoked this, what made this youth to go on whose behest. So these things need to be discussed. See, whatever may be the case, whoever may be the responsible person, the law should take its own course, and they should be brought to punishment. The
Yeah,
whoever are found guilty, they should be punished according to the law. We are all okay with it. We also have a concern that a lady died, but this hooliganism, this vandalism, this violence, you know, this threatening a person despite knowing that there is so much going around, instead of dousing the fire, instead of stopping the issue somewhere, why, you know, today Congress party is ruling in Telangana state. Okay, I'm not trying to politicize the issue again, but they should maintain more restraints. Rather, they should refrain from making provocative statements or disturbing statements that will see any which way a celebrity has his own fan following. Now that you have so much of impact of social media in our lives, and people talk at times irresponsibly from various corners without knowing what are going to be the repercussions, and we don't even know with the kind of accounts that instigate these kind of incidents. So here, the entire issue now come to a place where it is showing Telangana in poor light. That's a concern. Hyderabad is in bad light. This is a concern. So now there is a necessity that all the concerned should start working to stop this particular issue. Now that I have seen the producers of the film concerned went to the hospital and tried to help the family, the victim's family, and all that. However,
yeah.
the
50
government
lakhs were given by
now
the
should
producer,
allow,
and the CM has
yeah,
also given 25 lakhs. But of course, that
yeah, of
doesn't bring back to
course. Now
life.
the government should
Support is
allow, the
coming to the
government should
family.
allow, the government should allow the law should take its own course. Let the police do the proper investigation, a fair investigation. Who are responsible? And this is a lesson for all of us. The lesson for celebrities, the lesson for police, lesson for police also to allow and the VIP culture and all that. You should ensure, you should and be vigilant enough. You should ensure the law and order. You should ensure whatever given in writing is observed by the people concerned, whether it's a celebrity or a political party or a cinema theater, whatever it is. Ultimately, today the children, if you think about the children, now they become motherless. And who is responsible to it now? See, end of the day, today the government should allow the law to take its own course. Or I am
Yeah.
repeating my statement. Now, this is a lesson to celebrities also. They also maintain, they should take enough precautions when they go into the crowds.
But
Because
I take your
automatically crowd
point
will
that
come.
this sort of a thing should not cause more unrest and should not become a law and order issue with the actors' private residence being targeted. That is simply not acceptable. And I, of course, fully
Absolutely not
take your
acceptable.
point that, this is not the time, or this should not be used as an opportunity to grab brownie points. The blame game must also stop, Mr. Reddy. Rather, the political leadership must also come together. A tragic death has happened, and it's very common in south of India, at least, for very large crowds to show up in premieres. The police, and I again appreciate that you said that lessons must be learned by all sides. I hope this message goes out to the larger people, to the public, to the government. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Ravula Sridhar Reddy. I appreciate your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you for
Thanks
inviting
very
me.
much for
Thank you.
joining us on Free Press Journal. It's a very tragic story again, because a mother and a son went for the premiere of Pushpa 2. The mother, of course, did not make it after that stampede broke out. The son is still critical. A lot of funds coming their way. The actor has also promised to help the family. The producers have given 50 lakh rupees. The government is going to take care of the education of the child, who's still critical. But in all of this, as we just heard Mr. Reddy of the BRS say that lessons must be learned, and we also heard from the Congress party the fact that this has now become a new law and order issue for the actor, for the government of the day, that people are angry. The public anger now is palpable, and that is why these incidents are happening. Let's listen into some more sound bites that have come in. And here is the minister of Telangana who
remove
spoke
करके
about this issue a short while
रो
ago.
एक मुंह से लगा के थोड़ा वो जूसेस वो फीड कर रहे, अभी उसके बारे में कुछ भी कर रहे, कितने भी टाइम लग सकते हैं उसमें। क्या क्या 90% चांसेस है, 100% चांसेस है, 50 चांसेस, वो लोग भी वही भी नहीं भी बोल सकते, कुछ भी नहीं बोल सकते बोल के डॉक्टर्स कहना है। मेरा भगवान का एक ही रिक्वेस्ट है, एक छोटा बच्चा है, उसका मम्मी जो मर गया है, मरते वक्त आपको बोले, आप सीएम साहब असेंबली में देखे होंगे, मम्मी मर गया, ऑलमोस्ट 20 साल तो गन, मरने के बाद भी हाथ में पकड़े बच्चे को, पुलिस वाले आके जोर से हाथ निकाल के मम्मी वो डेड बॉडी को लेके इसको हॉस्पिटल भेज दिए। सो जाते वक्त भी उसका बच्चे को छोड़ना नहीं चाहते, मगर वो लेडी जल गया, वो ये लेडी मर के उन्होंने लिवर दे के उसका हस्बैंड जो है भास्कर बोल के उसका हस्बैंड को वो गोल्ड शॉप में प्राइवेट जॉब 30,000 रुपये से करते हैं, उसको लिवर दे के बचा है, इन्हों मर गए उसका वाइफ।
So that is the tragedy of the situation here, where you just heard. I mean, the chances of survival of the child is apparently about 50%. So let's hope and pray that he recovers. With that, I'm going to play out this exclusive conversation that I had with Juliette Touma, who is working with the UNRWA. This is an organization, it's a United Nations organization that works for Palestinian children. And Juliette spoke to me about the plight of the education of children in Gaza in particular. What are the efforts being made that these children do not fall prey to the wrong hands, even into the hands of terror groups, because there is every possibility that the children are radicalized and then they are forced to join terror groups in Gaza, organizations that are working towards their rehabilitation, their education. One of them is UNRWA, and I spoke to Juliette Touma about this entire challenge. I leave you with this
that were
exclusive
used as
interview
schools
that I had
are now being
a short while
used
ago.
as shelters for families who have fled the war and sought for refuge in those schools. Mental scar on the children of Gaza is immense. As soon as there's a ceasefire, which is long overdue, and we do hope that this happens as soon as possible, so that rebuilding starts, so that material for education for children is allowed into Gaza, so that children have some sort of way of normalcy.
Addressing Catholic cardinals, Pope Francis referred to airstrikes that reportedly killed 25 Palestinians on Friday, calling the bombing of children an act of cruelty, not war. Now, this is not the first time that children of Gaza has made it to international headlines or is now in international discourse. Irrespective of the sharp rhetoric on both sides, the reality of the situation is children in Gaza are facing an insurmountable crisis. The immediate casualty of the conflict is education. I am now joined by Juliette Touma, Director of Communication, UNRWA. Juliette has just joined us, in fact, from Jordan, from Amman. Juliette Touma, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us on Viewpoint.
Thanks for having me.
So I'll just have our viewers know that the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees, that this is what the UNRWA stands for. It works for the Palestinian refugees in this particular conflict region. It's a UN agency that supports the relief and human development of Palestinian refugees. It also supports the 6 million Palestinian refugees within and outside Palestine, providing services such as schools, primary health centers, and other social services. So, Juliette, Gaza's children are fighting for survival. They're facing this terrible onslaught of aggression and violence on their territory. Under such circumstances, how are you and your organization reaching out to Gaza's children, and what is your assessment of their plight at the moment?
Well, children have been a casualty of this brutal war for nearly 15 months now. They've witnessed what no child around the world should witness. They've been displaced. Loved ones have been killed, sometimes in front of their own eyes. Many children were killed. Many were injured. And all of the children of Gaza who are supposed to be in school have not been in school for the second year in a row. So we are on the verge of losing a whole generation of children in Gaza.
Right. You know, with the structures being raised to the ground, we here in India, of course, have information streaming in only with certain sources. And I do believe that sometimes we don't have the full picture. And my curiosity is around, are children completely stripped of all opportunities of learning in this entire region?
So they have not been to school formally for the second year in a row. You see, UNRWA before the war started used to provide more than 330,000 boys and girls with education in UN schools. And when the war started, all schools in Gaza, government, UN school, private schools, were all forced shut. Many of our facilities that were used as schools are now being used as shelters for families who have fled the war and sought for refuge in those schools. Now, we have been giving at UNRWA some form of psychosocial activity that involve learning for children, very basic, so that children can catch up, so that children can learn, but it's nothing in comparison to a child being in a school. The natural habitat of a child, if you wish, is inside a school, where children not only learn, but also play and make friends and reconnect and learn also the life skills that are absolutely critical for their futures.
Absolutely. And, just to get an understanding of the magnitude of the issue, an entire generation of children falling out of the education radar, losing crucial years of their, say, the school going or college going or university going years. Perhaps it's going to take a long time to make up for this, but is there any way that UNRWA is hoping to get these children back into the radar, back into the education system?
They've never left. Yeah, they've never left our radar. I mean, the children of Gaza, and there's about 1 million of them, have been pretty much a very big focus for UNRWA. We are not able to provide schooling in proper schools, but we have been doing some psychosocial support, some simple learning activities. But it's very, very difficult to bring in education supplies into Gaza. As you know, Gaza is under siege. And because of the internet connectivity, which is very, very patchy and in some cases completely non-existent, for children, it is very difficult to do virtual learning, as an example. Also, Gaza is a very, very poor place. Even before the war, the levels of poverty were very high. So digital poverty is also widespread. And people don't have the machines, and obviously they don't have the internet connectivity. This is absolutely why we have been calling for a ceasefire for the sake of children, for the sake of their education, for them to be able to return to learning before they become a lost generation.
Right. Our children, I want to ask you this question because, again, like I said, we have access to a certain amount of information. We do not have the full picture, but are children being used as human shields, as the Israeli side often suggests, that they are as much a part of the war and in fact being used by terror groups? What is your understanding of how children are placed in this?
Look, we also get these reports that people in general have been used as human shields. If this is the case, then it should be investigated. The use of anyone as a human shield, any civilian as a human shield, is contradictory to international humanitarian law. Across the Gaza Strip, nowhere is safe and no one is safe, and no one has been spared and nothing has been spared, whether it's schools, hospitals, children, older people, men, women. It has been an absolute and utter brutal war, including on children.
And what are the threats that children face? Because if children are not, I imagine a normal childhood, where a child has a certain routine or does his school hours. What are the threats for children who don't do that? Are they vulnerable to child trafficking or manual labor? What has been the sort of safety network, the safeguards that UNRWA works on so that children don't fall into the wrong hands, as it were?
So that's exactly the fear, is that we know that from other conflicts, and including from Gaza, because Gaza is no stranger to conflicts, right? Even before this current ongoing war has been going through multiple cycles of violence and of blockade. And we know that from other conflicts around the world. The longer that children stay out of school, the risk that they fall prey into exploitation is much higher. That includes child labor, it includes recruitment into armed groups, it includes early marriage. This is why it's absolutely critical that there's a ceasefire and that children are able to get their education and to catch up on the loss over the past 2 years.
Right. In your understanding, are children susceptible to being radicalized, to falling prey to terror groups as well? Since you mentioned,
we know that from other conflicts, that the longer that children stay out of school, the risk for them to be exploited is very high.
True. So how and when, can the rebuilding start? How can children of Gaza hope to lead a normal life from where they are right now?
As soon as there's a ceasefire, which is long overdue, and we do hope that this happens as soon as possible, so that rebuilding starts, so that material for education for children is allowed into Gaza, so that children have some sort of way of normalcy, and so that children are safe. You see, right now, children are not safe, and Gaza is no place for children because of this brutal war.
Right. I understand, the sort of challenges that even you and RWA would have to work within, as you explained the constraints to provide learning to children in that zone, in that entire area. But my concern is also around what is the mental cost, the emotional cost to children. Is UNRWA also addressing that, the emotional scars that obviously in a situation like this children would face?
No, you're absolutely right. The mental scar on the children of Gaza is immense. Every child in Gaza, every adult in Gaza, every person who has been going through this war is scarred, is traumatized. It's because of the brutality of this war, it's because of the shock, because of the displacement that people had been undergoing multiple times, losing everything, needing everything, relying on the very, very little aid that comes into Gaza, losing jobs, losing, more importantly, loved ones, losing schooling, losing their future. And so everyone is scarred emotionally. And UNRWA has been, since the beginning of the war, providing psychosocial support to people who are impacted by the war through a teams of psychologists, social workers who help people overcome, who help people download the experiences that they've been going through. With children, it is mostly focused on play, on doing things that are going to help them reconnect a little bit with their childhood. But it's by far not enough. The war has got to stop. It has been a very, very, very long war, and with brutal consequences, devastating consequences, in fact, on the people of Gaza, among the many children.
Right, to be a witness to such death and destruction at an early age, at an impressionable age, one can just imagine the damage that it can do. We all know that childhood happens to be the foundation for any individual. And I appreciate Juliette Touma and organizations like yours that are reaching out to the children in Gaza. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for joining us on Free Press Journal.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure.